Monday, September 9th, 2024, we lost an icon. A voice that was more memorable than probably any on this planet. Mr. James Earl Jones passed away.
Rest in peace to Mufasa, man. That was King Joffrey Joffrey. That was definitely a voice that is going to be missed and never replicated. So rest in heaven, sir.
Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Well done.
Yo, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? You hear that theme music, you see these beautiful faces. We are the Let's Get Canceled podcast. Yeah. I am your boy, Big Tech Dog, your favorite friendly, lovable loudmouth.
And I'm Tommy with an H. I'm the voice of this people. I speak for y'all.
Woohoo! Well, it's about that time. Hey, yo, cousin.
What up, cousin?
You ready?
I'm ready now.
Let's get canceled.
Let's get canceled.
All right, so check it out, y'all. Tonight, man. Tonight, we got one question for y'all. For black men, is traditional or contemporary relationships / marriages better? Which one's better for black men? Ladies, I didn't ask you yet. So y'all, I can see y'all already. I said the title and y'all already like, oh, why it's got to be about me? Because I ain't never been a black woman. I'm a black man. I've been a black man my entire life.
And y'all gonna have to take it or leave it today, because this is just what we're going to be talking about. We're going to give it from our perspective and our relationships and what we feel is probably best. But ladies, check this out. I am going to address you a little bit tonight. Don't be offended. I've decided that I have scaled down my rhetoric quite a bit from what it was going to be. So y'all just go ahead and sit back and enjoy. And if I do go a little hard, I still love y'all. Just need y'all to do. We'll get to that in a minute.
He does, but I'm tired of being the bad guy, so he better get in here.
Hey, it's coming how it comes.
Yo, so we got a couple things we want to talk about before we get started on that. A couple little small things we want to hit. Hey, cuz, man, listen, man, we got a problem, bro.
Yo.
These white boys are going crazy, man.
Put the time up before we end up doing way
we gonna make sure we do
much.
Here we go.
Because you know this topic right here will definitely take us somewhere. But yeah, I have noticed over the last few however many years there's been a pandemic of school shootings, and it bothers me. Now, I don't have any kids, but I got nieces, nephews, cousins, and kids coming to school with weapons is a major problem for me. Yeah. So I'm just gonna bring it to you as a father. How does this sit with you?
Listen, man, it's a problem because, and I think this one bothers me a little bit more because this young man had all the red flags. We're not talking about some kid who was getting bullied a little bit too much and he was just kind of off to it and nobody knew anything. There had been calls and he was already on the radar. His parents knew. Everybody knows there's something wrong. And what does he get for Christmas?
AR-15.
An AR-15 from his own daddy. And so what bothers me about this is that now I don't have to worry only about kids in school who are emotionally unstable or mentally unstable. I got to worry about they stupid ass parents who are going to enable them with some an AR. I don't own an AR-15.
Right, but that's the thing. After a call is made saying that your son is threatening to shoot up in elementary school, police show up. They talk to him and his father. He's saying it never happened. I would never do anything like this. Father says this is a problem, but hey, you don't have anything to really worry about. I've got him under control. And then a year later, he's at school shooting up 4 people. He's killing 4 people, injuring others. So I was happy to see that the father was charged.
Absolutely.
I was happy to see that the father was charged the way he was. But I also think there's something that needs to be done to the administration at that particular school. Yes. Because from what the reports are now, the mother called into the school about 30 minutes before the shooting started happening. and said, you guys need to go and check on my kid. He's suicidal, homicidal, and something's going on with him. So someone please go and check on my kid. And they were slow to respond. I think they said there was another kid with a similar name. So they went and checked his bags, but they couldn't find her kid. At that particular moment, if you have a parent calling in saying my kid is potentially homicidal, suicidal, and you can't find them, in my opinion, the school should be locking things down.
Hey, listen, man. If number one, if that mom sent her child to school in that state, she should bear some responsibility. Now, I don't think she should bear as much responsibility as dad in this situation, but she definitely should bear some responsibility, because if you're that worried that you will call into the school and say, hey, you need to go check on my child, why didn't you check on your child before your child left home?
Right. And that's
why is your child not at home with you?
Because one thing that was out there was the mother was out of the home at one point.
Right.
And I thought she was locked up, because there have been reports of abuse and that sort of thing going on in that family. So I'm not sure if the mother was in the home, but she had enough to know that my kid owns a rifle. He's homicidal, suicidal, he's depressed, and I'm reaching out to the school counselor to say, hey, go find my kid. And at that particular moment, someone needs to put their hands, eyeballs on this kid and make sure that
absolutely
he's cared for. Not even worried about the other school kids, but you have a kid here that's in distress. Right. So someone needs to be there trying to care for this particular kid, and it did not happen. The ball was dropped here, and there's so much blame to go around, and there was loss of life that took place here, and that brings the broader question of gun control in our country, and I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Listen, man, I will tell you this. I just recently, my kids all play sports or inactive, and my wife had to go and pick them up to go take them to get a physical. Mm-hmm. Got to the school, and they could not find either of my kids at the high school. Now, this was one of those situations where it was like, oh, well, it's a free period or whatever it's called. It wasn't an academic period. I don't know. For lack of a better phrase, it's like homeroom, right? And during this time, my wife spent 35 minutes there while they searched to try to find out where my kids were going to end up so they could call a classroom to get them to come up front so she could take them to get a physical. I had a serious problem with this because
that's unacceptable.
You're supposed to know where my kids are at all times. At all times.
I give them to you for a particular time of day. Right. That's unacceptable to me. To not be able to find a child, my child, yeah, that would be a major problem for me. So I guess we have to move on from this. We got to move on from this one. And on Sunday,
yes, sir,
the NFL season kicked off in full steam. I know Thursday night we had some games, Friday we had a game, and then on Sunday the games were popping, and the Jacksonville Jaguars were down in Miami.
Yeah, they were.
And before they could even get on the field, Tyreek Hill has a run-in with authorities. Now he wasn't arrested. He wasn't arrested, but he was detained for a bit. And with what happened in that particular incident, the body cam footage, and this is the first time I've seen body cam footage come out that quick.
That was tight.
That body cam footage came out almost immediately. And to see him upset, he says he doesn't know what he was doing, because he did an interview with NBC earlier on Monday also. And he said he had no idea. He said he didn't think he was going that fast. He wasn't driving that recklessly. So for the police to come up to his vehicle, and in the body cam footage, you see them knocking on the window. He's like, why are you banging on my window like you crazy, man? Why are you doing this to me? And for the cops to say, roll your window down, matter of fact, get out. And within a matter of seconds, they are snatching this young man out of his vehicle, throwing him to the ground. Bruh.
Dude, they looked jealous. Now, full transparency, I told you when you said, oh, we got to hit this, and I was like, I don't know, man. I feel like it's something else to the story.
Something else to this.
I don't know what else is to the story. You ever get that feeling in the pit of your stomach like it's something else that I just don't know? And that's what I told you. And I was like, yeah. And you were like, I got the body cam footage. I said, excuse me?
Right, because it just happened, and now all of a sudden we got body cam already?
I'm like, there's no way. And I watched it, and I think my text back to you was, I'm all in.
I'm all in, yes. Because one of the officers had been placed on administrative leave. So apparently they thought that something he did, and I think it was the same one that snatched him out of the car.
The second guy,
yeah, the second guy. And then when they were trying to get him to sit down, he was like, "Hey, man, I just had surgery on my knee." The guy that came and put him in the little headlock, and forced him down. So I believe that's the officer. In my opinion, he should be the one that's on administrative leave right now, because he had no cause for the things he was doing other than you're not doing what I tell you to do at that moment.
And that's exactly it, because he said it over and over again while he was on the ground. He was like, yo, what are y'all doing? You're like, oh, you should have listened to me, or you should have done this. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a grown man. There is nothing legal about you physically detaining me because I just didn't do what you told me to do arbitrarily. I'm not breaking any laws. Not any that required detention.
That force. Right.
It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? And so this is where we all get into the same problem. I've looked like this my entire life. I've been a black man my entire life, and one of my biggest fears is my black sons being out somewhere and being treated like this. Now, I will tell you this. This is why I say that police brutality isn't necessarily racial from not from the standpoint of the police, because I've seen black racist cops, I've seen Hispanic racist cops, like in this situation, I've seen white racist cops, but it always seems to be black dudes on the receiving end of it.
Right. Now, it's that blue versus everybody, and it's that lack of compliance. And the thing with this particular situation, it was like, it's not that he wasn't complying, it's the fact that he did not move fast enough.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, because once they opened this door and said, "Get out," he was starting to move, and then the guy just rushed in and snatched him out. So now it's just the fact that you're not moving fast enough for us. So this is going to be something that I'm looking to see further and see what's going to shake from this at some point, because I know there's going to be a lawsuit of some sort. Something has to shake. But Tyreek said he loves the cops and he wants to bring people together. So we're going to see how that shakes out. But speaking of football, sticking on the football topic, Super Bowl 25.
Yes, sir.
There has been a major development. Kendrick Lamar will be spearheading the halftime event, and people are pissed.
They are hot mad.
People are PO'd right now at Jay-Z for not inviting Lil Wayne to do the halftime show at the Super Bowl in his hometown of New Orleans. How you feel about that?
I can see why they're mad. I can see, if I was Lil Wayne, why I would be mad. However, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't heard from Lil Wayne. I've heard from Nicki. I've heard from Birdman. I've heard from a bunch of fans. Haven't heard from Lil Wayne. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's saying, or Nicki was implying that Jay-Z was jealous of Wayne. She implied that he was hating. But if I'm not mistaken, Lil Wayne has nothing but admiration for Jay-Z, and Jay-Z has expressed nothing but admiration for Wayne.
Right.
Now,
so I think this is a business move.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I think this may have been something simple as a business move, but that's a developing story, bro. I don't know how that's going to turn out. I've got a feeling that we're going to hear from Wayne soon, and it's not going to be what everybody thinks it is. However, if I lived in New Orleans and I was a huge Wayne fan, which I'm only a semi-Wayne fan, I would be very upset. I can understand.
I can understand. I can understand it from the anger point of view. However, from the business side, can Wayne really do his catalog at the Super Bowl?
No.
Can he fill 20 minutes at the Super Bowl?
And can he? Well, yeah, he could. I think he could.
For that particular audience, not just doing a concert, but for that particular audience. That's I
don't know, because
we'll revisit.
Yeah, we'll revisit it. But last note, I think he could do it with more popular music than Kendrick could. And though I like Kendrick better, I think his catalog he has more in his catalog that could fit that audience than Kendrick does.
Oh, I definitely understand the audience point of view. I'm just saying the material, like it's
the content.
The content, yeah.
I feel you. Yep.
So that's where I'm going with that part. But we've got a fish to fry, so we're gonna go ahead and fry this fish. And I'm gonna let you go ahead and I'm gonna ask you the question. I'm gonna let you go ahead and you spark it off. So, which is better for black men, traditional or contemporary relationships or marriages? What do you think? Asking the question again. This is the question for all of you tonight, but I'm gonna let Tech answer it first. Go ahead and give me your true answer.
All right. So my true answer for black men in general, I do believe that traditional marriage is better for black men, period. Now, I am here right now and I'm talking to you. There are no females anywhere near me, not within 50 feet of me, but I can hear them in my head going, oh, well, traditional men want traditional women, but they don't want to be traditional men. They don't. That's not what that's not the question.
Right.
The question is, which one is better for black men? Now, I'm going to explain to you why I think traditional marriage / relationships is better. The reason being is because traditionally, it forces men to be men. It forces men into a situation where, you know what, you've got people who are dependent upon you. And so that builds character. When responsibility to me builds character. And when you're responsible for other people, you make decisions based on how it's going to affect those other people. They're not always the right decisions. They're not always the accurate decisions. They're not always the best decisions, but real men have those decisions made based on how it's going to affect the people who are depending on him. I am saying this from the standpoint of someone who is, in the eyes of everyone, not in a traditional quote unquote marriage. I am in a marriage to one woman with our 4 beautiful children, and I am the quote unquote head of the household. But when it comes to finances, and this is something that I did recently, and I think it was you who kind of pointed this out to me, because I know me. I know me, and I do the best I can, and I hustle, and I grind, and I make my money, and I do this, I do that. And when it all boils down, I do it a non-traditional way. So like, I'm in entertainment, and I'm in, live events. So that money it's not like I can say every month, this is how much money I'm guaranteed to make every month. Meanwhile, my wife has that stability, and it's a significant amount. So in my house, what happens? My regular 9-to-5 check and my wife's check, that goes into an account. I don't even have access to that account. Like, it's just an account over there, and it's really, my wife takes care of all that stuff. And there's stuff that I look at and where I'm like, oh yeah, don't forget this or don't forget that. But when it comes to all that, it goes. And if I need some money, I call my wife and be like, hey, can you send me some money? But a lot of gigs, if I get that cash in here or I get that money over here, that kind of goes in my pocket and do stuff like that. But that's for hair and nails and stuff like that. So to me, traditional marriages are better, but let's be real, bro. Like, we've left tradition a long time ago for most people.
Truth. And I think the problem for me with this particular situation is traditional marriages and relationships cannot work right now for black men because women refuse to maintain that traditional standard. Because we're gonna keep it a buck right quick.
Oh, I hope so. This is the Let's Get Canceled podcast, sir.
Let's Get Canceled podcast. So go ahead and let's go ahead and address this for real. Those traditional relationships where your grandfather was going to work and your grandmother stayed home all the time and she reared the kids and all this. Guess what else your grandma was doing? She was getting her head knocked between the washer and dryer half the time when she talked back to
Say that, sir.
Y'all won't be quiet. You women have to have your opinions. And I agree that you should have your opinions. So let's leave this whole traditional thing alone. Grandpa went to work. Grandma, and also here's
wait. Uh-huh. I just thought of remembered a terrible joke, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's hilarious to me. It said, what do you say to a woman with 2 black eyes?
Nothing, because you already told
You already told the
terrible.
I do not agree with that joke. I do not. Wait, before y'all get in the comments and go,
and that's why I'm not in a traditional relationship. And also, here's another thing. You women, during the suffrage movement, the now movement, you women fought for your rights to go into the workplace. So the same thing you tell us about your ancestors fought and died to have the right to vote. So make sure you go out and vote. Women, why would you want to not go to work? Your ancestors fought on that line. They went out of their way to make sure they had the right to not be bored and at home and only a homemaker. They wanted to be more. They wanted to go out into the workforce and do more, because after a while, being happy homemaker is not as much fun as you think it's going to be. And it's not as easy as you think it's going to be. And then you also want things for yourself. Your husband's job as the traditional husband was to provide for your house. That means I take care of the bills at home, all that extra stuff you had to do without, because first comes the house. First comes these kids. We got to take care of that. That's the traditional home. And then anything that's left over, we try to save. We need something for us. And then maybe you can get a few extra things. Once you go into the workforce, we pool all of our resources together. There is more for everyone. So as you can see, I am well on the way to saying contemporary relationships are way better for Black men, especially for Black men, because we need our women. We need our women. And we need our women to be our helpers and not our anchors.
So I'm saying contemporary is better for Black men for one reason, and you're saying that I'm sorry. I'm saying traditional is better for Black men for one reason, and you're saying contemporary.
And I'm talking for right now in 2024. A traditional marriage will not work for a Black man, because you don't get to punch her in her eye any longer. Your grandmothers and great grandmothers were getting socked. I had a homeboy tell me, we was walking down the street one day, and this is a long time ago. Rest in peace to the homie Moondog. But I was like, man, you don't hear kids crying out the house like you used to. He was like, you know what else you don't hear crying out the house? Them wives. And it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing that we have transitioned past that part. But in those traditional marriages, a lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, because my grandmother ain't never get hit. Yours didn't, but I'm pretty sure her neighbor probably did. So there is a lot, right? There's a lot that goes into being that traditional husband, because what I say goes. Women these days will not let a man have that much control over their everyday life. Now, you may let us lead to a point, but you will give your point of view. You do get to say what's on your mind when you want to, and they did not. So Black women, this is much better for you to not be involved in one of those traditional relationships, because if you decide that you don't agree with something your husband does, you have a chance at that particular point to say, no, I don't agree, and not have to worry about boxing.
Well, listen, now that you say that, so check this out. This is a chart. This is divorce rates, right? And do you see the slice of the pie as it applies to Black?
Yeah. So like maybe we need to go back to those traditional values.
No. These are 2024 stats, by the way.
Right.
And it's looking like, oh my God, it's a problem. There's an epidemic of divorce. Right. Now, what was our topic last week, sir? Do you remember?
Yeah, we had an issue with our religious people. We had a question for our churches and if they were too far away from their roots.
You're absolutely right. And so we had decided that, you know what, maybe these churches have a little problem. Well, look at this one. You see that all the way to the left over there, guys? That's the divorce rate in historically Black Protestant religions.
Yeah,
and we've won there too.
Where most of us are. So yeah, that's where we find ourselves. And with that, again, I will say, as far as the divorce rate goes, maybe we do need those traditional values, because there wasn't that much divorce when grandma was getting punched in her eye.
Well, that's because grandma
They
didn't
stayed
have the
put.
rights. Grandma didn't have the rights to get out of that situation either.
She had the rights, but she listened to
And
her.
wasn't nobody gonna listen to her.
She listened to her family, and they say you got to stick with it. You sit
Now
there and you work with it.
let me turn the corner for a second.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about traditional versus contemporary, we've so far been talking about that traditional man, head of the household, and makes all the decisions relationship versus a equal man and woman work together to right. What about these contemporary relationships? What about these thruples where you've got two women and one man, or some of them is two men and
wives.
It's weird. What do you think about that?
I say if it works for you, do it. If it works for you, do it.
But
I am all for it. Can work. It can work.
I want to know. I don't know a single person. Like, listen, man. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I am gonna be 100% with you. I love my wife to the moon and back. There is no other woman that I love like my wife.
Say it louder so she can hear you. Say it louder so she can hear you.
Not you can tell I'm talking. No, I'm for real. But for real, I couldn't deal with two of them. And this is the thing. You gotta remember. There's a lot that goes into something like that. And that to me, because when you say traditional, that says one thing. When you say contemporary, that is a wide spectrum, bro. And there's a whole lot to that. And what I think is lost in that, we've gotten to a point now where we expect men to be men without putting them in situations that force them to be men.
Be men. Yes, true.
That's a problem.
True. That is a problem. But there are, like you say, get a black man, a black woman, and go find a woman who's like really laid back and just, hey, she's just here to serve. I'm not going to put it on a particular segment. I'm just going to say find one that you can mail order one of them.
Talking about an Asian woman?
I did not say that. I said.
Well, I said it. Asian women.
Just find you one that's gonna be there.
Get you one like Coming to America. Whatever you like.
Right. Hey, it can work. It can work. So she can serve.
I don't know if it can or not.
She can serve the household. But yeah, so some of those relationships, some things need to be explored though. In certain situations, certain things do need to be explored. And hey, if this isn't working out for us, and just think how financially it could be beneficial with an additional income in the house.
That's where everybody goes. That's where everybody, and this is the side when people start trying to be serious about it, and they try to talk to me and be like, yeah, bro, think about it, man. Like we work, miss me with all that. Like,
because you're thinking of it as I'm gonna have to fight two chicks. Like, no, you don't have to.
I'm thinking in reality, bro. That's reality.
They're gonna jump you. They're gonna stab you in your sleep.
That's reality. I'm not worried about them jumping me. I'm worried about them. Each other. Like you tell me. Nope. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. When have you been around more than two women for more than 2 hours where there wasn't a feeling of an uneasiness that creeps into that situation? Let's be real.
When they love each other. So I saw someone the other day. They were like, "You got to get a soft stud, and then she's gonna bring in the other chick." So then it's like two niggas. It's like two niggas. I'm just saying, man. That's how you make it work.
I saw a reel on the gram, I believe, and it was a stud, and in comes one chick. Like it was like she's standing there. Like a stud, like a nigga bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, so she's standing there, and here comes a chick and bends over and shakes it on, and she smacks her, and then here comes another chick, and she smacks her, and then she turns around, and a nigga walks in, and she bends over, and she's twerking on the nigga, and it's just like, wait, so the stud says, this is my girlfriend, this is my other girlfriend, I'm his girlfriend. I'm like, what is going? I'm so confused. That's too much. It's too much.
But things are fluid these days, so things can work however they need to work. Because like
fluidity is a problem. You know why fluidity? And let me tell you why fluidity is a problem. When you think of any fluid, A liquid takes the form of whatever it sits in, right? So you don't have round liquids. You have a container that's round that holds liquid. But when you're solid, you're going to be that no matter what environment you're in, unless some outside force erodes something away.
But sometimes you don't need to
gonna
always
stand on
be
solid.
that.
I'm always going to stand on solid, and even I'd prefer to be solid more than I would want to be liquid, because if you're fluid, okay, when you're fluid, you're just gonna go with whatever is going on. And when it's time, when things get tough,
Bruce Lee said, "Be like water."
Bruce Lee's dead. Bruce Lee is gone, Churin. He's gone. Don't nobody care. I understand the concept, because I think that one of my pitfalls is that I am so rigid. Like I'm very black and white.
There's no go with the flow here. There's no go with the flow.
Right. There not as much as it should be. But I think that the other extreme is just as detrimental and just as dangerous. So but when it comes down to it, if going with the flow all the time is dangerous and being too rigid is dangerous, when it comes down to somebody making a decision and making the tough decisions, which one would you rather be with? Somebody who's going to be to the point, and this is where I stand, and that's going to be it, and take it or leave it, or somebody who's just going to go with whatever comes, and that's the problem.
I'm going to say, you just dropped your son off at school. Say he comes back from the city, and he's got 2 ladies with him, and he's like, "This is my Tuesday, Thursday. This is my Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm free on the weekends, Pops. This is how life goes. This is what they want. This is what I want. And we are happy together." What advice do you give him? Because this is one of those contemporary relationships where nobody really wants to be tied down to anything.
Right.
And again, it's kind of like the religion conversation that we had last week of just being able to do whatever you want to do. But in this particular instance, everyone's in agreement. So how would you direct that? Would you tell him it's not going to work for the long run?
I'm not ever going to tell my kids that anything's not going to work, because I don't know what's going to happen. But what I will tell him is, from a male point of view, from a married man point of view, for almost 20 years married, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell him straight up, be like, listen, women in general, you have to understand how they think. And it took me 20 years to try to understand one woman, and you're jumping in at 18 trying to understand 2. And I don't care what they like today. There is no way 2 women are going to like the same things for the next 20 years. It's just not going to happen. Right. I know a lot of women, and none of them like the same things they liked 20 years ago. And if they do, her and her homegirl who liked the same thing 20 years ago, now they like different things. You understand what I'm saying? So
and that's one of the conversations we had with the Melanin Mindset sisters, where we were saying the women expect you to change, you expect them to stay the same. And
exactly.
That is not how life works.
And you know what?
Not how life works.
That was a very eye-opening conversation for me. It was just like, wait a minute, you're right, because I spent a lot of time. My mom used to tell me when I was being stupid and when I was young, I'd be running around like, this is right at that 18, 19-year-old, phase, and I'm out running the streets and I'm doing this and that. And she told me, she's like, you need to get yourself together, because you're going to run into a young lady one day, and you're going to want that young lady, and you ain't going to have your shit together. Of course, she didn't say shit, but you know what I mean. So, and I was like, yeah, whatever's whatever, and I'll be god dog if that didn't happen just like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, you want to, and now that I think about it, after that conversation with the Melanin Mindset, it's true that we look at it like we got to get ourselves all the way together before we settle down and get with one woman. And women look at it as this is a process of evolution where we're going to go on this journey together. So when we got to get into a relationship, I'm already where I want to be in 50 years from now. Right. You're thinking we're getting ready to get together and go on a journey to go figure out where we're going to be at.
And I'm like, we're ready to park, and they're like, hey, let's go ahead and we're just getting gassed up, and we're ready to park. So yeah, that's definitely a situation that men and women have differently. But again, to the
But
traditional,
think about what you're saying. That's a situation between a man and a woman where they've got to figure each other out. We already don't want to go on the journey because we think we've already gotten to our destination.
And I
Now
think the problem
imagine
is
doing that with two women.
And I think that's the problem right there is, but my thing is, hey, if you got to do it with one, you may as well do it with two, because you don't know where they're going. You don't know where they're going. And again, and here we're going to go. I'm going to bring some traditional values into this contemporary relationship. As the man, you guide them where you need them to be. You are the head of the household. No matter what they've got going on, no matter what type of journey they want to go on, you are the one in the driver's seat. You put them on the journey with you. You put them in the back seat and you tell them, I'm driving and this is where we're going. And if they're willing to listen, brother, do you know how amazing it could be if you can get two women to listen? Now it's almost impossible.
Have you ever
that's why I was
one woman to listen for a long amount of, like, come on, man. Like, you said that with such conviction, and I was like, wow.
The only people who were able to actually do that were men in the 50s and pimps. They're the only ones who were able to do that. You know, how
what did those men in the 50s and pimps have in common? they was just smacking people for no reason. Like, this is the thing. The reasoning for, like, so today, if I ride down the road and I see a dude hit a female, it does not matter what transpired right before that. It does not matter. He's wrong.
Right.
And if I'm close, I'm stopping it. It does not matter. Now, there are times after it stopped, like, you're absolutely wrong, but then you hear what this girl did, or what she had a knife, or she tried to do this and that. So you understand why he snapped like that. He's wrong for snapping, but you like, okay. Now, if I stop and you tell me that you smacked her because she wouldn't listen to you, nigga, are you outside your mind? Like, wait a minute, bruh. Like, and so, but that's what you're talking about from the 50s.
But that seems to be where the women really wanted to get back. And I'm not going to even say the majority, because most women want to go to work. Most women want to go to work. No, we've got these new age little things out here.
I am really trying to figure out where you get ready to go with this. Wait, what did you
women would rather have the contemporary relationship also.
Okay, all right.
That's where I'm going with this. That's where I'm going with.
Boy, you had me nervous for a second. I thought you
please punch me, sir. I'd rather get hit than go to work. I'd rather box than go to work. But here's the thing, like, I know of someone right now who was going through something similar. She was like, well, I'm just staying home with the baby and he goes to work. And she says her and her husband set up, like, when they get upset and have arguments, they put on gloves and box each other. Again, I think I mentioned this before, but that's like the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, why would you put yourself in a position to have to fight a nigga because you don't want to go to work?
You know what the problem is with that?
Because, but you give him that over you to where you guys feel it's okay for him to punch you because I don't work and he's the head of the household, so I have to take whatever he gives. But at least he lets me fight back.
Here's the thing, though. I think it puts in a position where that man ends up being more stressed. I'm gonna tell you why. Just follow me for a second. If you put on gloves to box your wife, which, number one, I would never. There's no chance in this world. There's no chance in this world. If you put on gloves to box your wife and your wife puts on gloves to box you, if you're a man, there's no way that you're hitting your wife, even with gloves on, even in a consensual situation, with the force needed
to get some act right.
To get some act right. You know what else, though? She will swing. She will swing on you with everything she got. So hear what you just did mentally for your own mental health. You have put on gloves and you've given her an outlet to release aggression, where you have to consistently take that aggression without any retribution, without any release to the necessary levels. So what you do is you've now put yourself. That's the equivalent of saying to your wife that we're going to argue. We can yell at each other, but I can never call you any names, but you can call me all the names you want. I can never say anything about your physical appearance, but you can say whatever you want. I can never say anything. You know what I'm saying? So now what you did was you gave this illusion of being on even playing field, but gave her all of the benefits. And
Right.
now you're going to it can only go for so long before you realize or you feel like, yo, this is not equal. This is not fair. Number one, we're not getting to the bottom of a problem. We're not fixing anything. And number two, I'm feeling worse at the end of this because I got to go look myself in the mirror and say, I put my hands on my girl and she swung on me as hard as she could, but I couldn't do it to her because something in me wouldn't let me do it.
What if you lose? Does she get to go to work?
If you're a man, if you're a man, you should lose every time.
But what if she like really gets you? Because I'm like, you might fight along and you know she can't really beat you if you fight hard. But you lay back.
You talking about if you start fighting back for real and then you still lose.
Back, if she sleeps, like now she gets to go to work. You got to stay home with the kid.
Hey, nigga, you better get to sweeping. You better get to sweeping,
bro. But like in the grand scheme of this whole thing, again, for me, it's traditional is what works because back in the day, women needed men to do the things.
Wait. Did you just say in the grand scheme of things, traditional works? Because that was my stance. You said contemporary.
I'm sorry. I meant to say contemporary work. If I said traditional, my apologies. Contemporary works because with the traditional, the women needed men. They could not go into the workforce, and when they finally did go into the workforce, it was like the married women were out of it. The younger women were in there, so they needed men to do certain things. Men needed women to do certain things. Like men didn't cook for real. They cooked at work, but they didn't go home and cook. They didn't clean anything. Women would, especially black women. Black women were, and that's another thing that I'm just a sidebar here. Black women, stop acting like y'all like back in the day. Black women didn't go to work because they went and worked in the white people's house. Mm-hmm. So cut it out. Mm-hmm. They've always worked.
Yep.
They've always had to come and help provide for the family along with the black man. So cut that out of saying we're back in. No. It was a small percentage of black women who did not go to work because who were the school teachers back then? It was black women teaching them black kids because the other people wouldn't let us come and hang out with them. Who was going over there scrubbing Miss Sally's floor? It was your black grandmama and great grandmama that was over there doing that. So cut that part out. But again, like men, we don't need you to cook for us anymore. We know how to cook. We know how to clean. And if it's all about sex, like we can get sex without having to marry you or date you. Like there's $40 whores everywhere.
Hey, you stepping on my game.
my apologies on that. But that's the thing. So that's why I'm saying like the traditional way is what it was, but we have moved on. And now let's work together so that we can have more. Because if you don't put your little bit with his lot of it, then y'all are screwed. And if he decides to leave you, you're just gonna count on the courts to give you half because that's what your life was built on.
I don't care about that. That's not what we're talking about. I don't care about what happened to her after he decides to leave you because we ain't on that subject tonight. We on what's best for black men.
For that's where it comes for me. For black men, let them go to work. Let them talk back. Let them have a voice. Let them do what they do. If you guys pool your resources, just like our community, if we pool our money together, if we pool our resources together, we can be so much stronger. But if one of us is having to carry all of the weight, we're not gonna get as far as we could. And I really want the black community, especially, to move forward past what we're doing and what we're trying to go back to, because all this thing. These black women that you see on the internet saying that it needs to be this way and we need to go back to those traditional values, that's that MAGA bullshit, and we do not need to make America great. we don't need to make America great again.
So here's my thing, and I it's weird because I completely agree. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with the sentiment. What I'm saying is that in a traditional relationship, the things that you say outside of that, like where the dudes was beating the women and all this other stuff, those were choices that were made and were acceptable. Like, granted, they were acceptable at the time in those traditional marriages, but at the same time, in those the traditional marriages, you have a lot of women who were born out of those traditional relationships, where the men who didn't have to, did give up that authority or give up that control for them to be able to flourish and blossom, right? So, and that was still considered a traditional relationship. What I'm saying is that, what do both of these things cause? And I think the best thing for black men, especially today, especially right now, is for black men to stand up and be black men. That means be responsible. That means be accountable. That means be reasonable. That means be loving and be driven, be upwardly mobile. All those things are fostered in a traditional relationship. And if we can take away all of the negativity, I am not in any way, shape, or form advocating for abuse of females. I'm not in any way, shape, or form advocating for the silencing of black women, because I think right now the only savior for this entire country and for us as a people is the black woman. Let's be real. Black women are kind of saving our ass right now. You know what I mean?
And guess what all those black women are doing? They're going to work. But you know what else was born out of those? You know what else was born out of those traditional relationships?
What's that?
We just passed September 3rd. Papa was a Rolling Stone. That's what came out of those traditional relationships. Mama had to sit there and take it. You saw fences. Buddy done went down the road, had a baby, brought the baby back to the crib like, hey, you'll raise this baby with me. And she stayed there and took that because he was the man. And like you say, men need to stand up and be men and stand and do what they do. They do that, but that means the woman has to sit there and take him standing on being a man, because as a man I get to do whatever I want to do because it's my check that comes in here and controls everything, and you would have absolutely nothing without me. And that's the mind frame that comes from that traditional marriage and that traditional relationship. Is this my juke joint? This here my juke joint.
That's the mind frame of a weak nigga. That's what that is. And and this is what I'm explaining to you. That's like saying, like what you're saying is, like, if we compare this to Jim Crow South, right? Like, you've got white people who are abolitionists who had the same authority and the same freedom to do what the racist white folks in the South had to do. You understand what I'm saying? They were in the same thing.
And you're taking that and you're giving that small percentage of this is the small percentage of who's going to do the right thing.
What I'm saying is that because the freedom was there to do it doesn't mean that it's
my right. But at that point, you feel it's my right to do this. It's my right to treat these Negroes that way because they are subservient to us. And those husbands and those boyfriends or whatever who are taking care of these women, that's how they feel. It's my right to do this to her because what else is she going to do? Well,
see, here's the thing about what you're saying to me. What you are doing right now, you are arguing from the standpoint of a black woman and how this situation will be a detriment to that black woman. I am arguing from the side of how contemporary relationships was better for black men.
But that's the thing. That's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the point of black men. We're gonna go back to a day where we don't give a fuck. If this is what y'all want, let's stop.
No,
and I don't think that's okay for black men. So that's what I'm saying. Let's move into this contemporary side where black men, you don't have to be that asshole. You don't have to.
So what I'm hearing from you is, in essence,
if we go back, we're gonna be.
In essence, black men. What you just said was, in essence, black men can't control themselves without parameters. Without somebody putting out external.
Fuck them up.
You so stupid.
Bro, I'm telling.
Hey, look, man. If I wanted to, like, I chose the woman that I wanted. I didn't choose a pushover. I didn't choose a woman who was going to just let me walk all over her or do whatever I want to or say whatever I wanted to or act how I wanted to. I could have found one. It's not a shortage of them dumb broads out there. Like, let's be real. So that to me tells me that without the outside restraints, without somebody telling me, nope, you can't go back. Because I could have found a chick that just do whatever I tell her to do. Like you said, I could have got online and ordered one. You know what I'm saying? But what I chose as a black man was someone who was going to, that I could be accountable to, and who was going to be accountable to me. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody who I could think of before making a decision, and someone who is going to hold me accountable when I step out of bounds. You understand what I'm saying?
And that's the beauty of us having strong black mothers. True. Our mothers were the outspoken type. They were the ones that
you ain't lying.
If they were a part of those traditional marriages, they'd probably be black-eyed because they.
But they are they are part of traditional marriages.
No, they're not. No,
yes,
they're not.
Are. Yes, they
are. No, they're not. They allow their husbands.
You got a different definition.
They allow their husbands to lead, but they ain't.
That's a traditional marriage.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Because leading and following is one thing, but shutting up is a whole nother one.
But that's not the definite. See, all right, you know what we should have done? We should have started this conversation out. We should have started this conversation. We should have defined traditional and contemporary.
Traditional
that's
marriage
what we should have
done. Is man works, woman stays home and takes care of the house and shuts the fuck up. And
no,
guess what? These women I don't agree with that. What?
I refuse that definition wholeheartedly. Wholeheartedly. God, no. We done got halfway through this conversation, and now I'm realizing, wait, we arguing from two different hemispheres.
So, what do you consider traditional? What do you consider traditional?
A traditional relationship /
Does a woman work? And I meant to text you this earlier, ask you what you meant by, but I was like, nah, we're on the same page.
We are not. We are not. What I mean by traditional, when I say traditional, I mean one man, one woman. Okay. I mean the leader of the household is the man. The woman is, I mean, not subservient, but defers to the man and his decisions. So,
y'all crazy.
And wait. There are other things that go along with the traditional marriage, but what I'm saying is, in that situation, in the grand scheme of everything you could probably think of in a traditional marriage, there are things in it that are not beneficial and I think are wrong. And there are things in it that I think are absolute. But I think the overall result of a traditional marriage versus the overall result of a contemporary marriage, if I look at the results and what that does for the black man, I would say that the traditional relationship benefits the black man more than the contemporary relationship today. The reason being is because today we have a lack of testosterone in men. Like, it's a whole lot of sweet boys out here. It's a whole lot of softies out here. And the one thing that makes you responsible, makes you have to evaluate and take all points into account, is being responsible for someone or something other than yourself. And when you're in a traditional relationship,
that forces niggas to be angry a lot, because
it doesn't force them to be angry.
I have the weight of the world on me. I have like the responsibility.
You got that anyway.
I get that, but if I have a helper over here who's going to be a helper and who's going to actually tell me when I'm slipping, as opposed to me trying to figure it out.
And that can be in a traditional relationship.
Because what you were saying earlier, you were like that she defers to. No. I need someone who's going to collaborate, not defer. I need a collaborator. I need someone who's going to speak with me. And when I say, hey, we're going to go this way, and she was like, babe, but look over there though. You see all those pitfalls over there? Let's go this way. And if I say, nah, we going this way anyway, I need someone who's going to stand up and be like, nah, nigga, I'm not going there with you. We're going to go this way. And then she's going to tell me why we're going this way and make it make sense to me. Because if she's going to defer to all of my fuck ups, nigga, this is why I do not handle finances in my house. And most niggas should not handle finances in their home. Because most of these women have had to deal with dollars more than we have. We throw money at anything. Nigga, we spend money at strip clubs throwing dollars to bitches showing their assholes.
We do not. We do not. You might, but we don't.
I'm going men in general. I'm going dudes. I'm going guys in general. Like, because nigga, look, we will spend our checks looking at a chick showing her asshole, as opposed to going home and putting some money away for other things. And I see what you're doing here, but that's okay. That's okay because I'm here, and I need someone who's gonna say, hey, nigga, let's not do that. Let's not do that. I'll give you your $25 a month that you can go and throw away with the little hookers. But nigga, what's gonna happen is you're gonna give me the rest of your money. And that's the thing also. Like me, I'm kind of traditional in that point of taking care of home.
Yeah.
Nigga, my entire check goes to my wife. She gives me $25 a month that I get to play with. That's what your granddaddy used to do. He used to come and give your grandma all his money. But guess what?
And I'm there. Yeah.
Yeah. But right now, what we also need is, hey, you put your money with my money, and let's get further, as opposed to everything that's yours is yours and everything that's mine is yours. Like that's the contemporary part that we need to disconnect
I will go with you on that. I'm with you on that part of the contemporary
disconnect from. Yeah, but as far as the traditional, yeah, everything I got it's all hers. Give me $25 a month. I will figure out the rest of my life from there. But what I'm not gonna do, what you say?
I need more than $25 a month.
Yeah. You drive around a lot and you do a lot of other things. Nigga, I'll be at the house. I'll be at the
That's
crib.
real.
So for me to have on my own, all I need is $25. I can get me a couple bottles and I can sit still. Where I can get a bottle. Can't get a couple, but I can get a bottle. And
I'll be what you're drinking. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Because I can't get a couple bottles of nothing that I drink.
Right.
Because I'm not. If you got to bend over to get it, you don't need to drink it. Rule one for alcohol drinkers. If you got to bend over to get it, you don't need to drink it.
My mind is blown because I understand exactly what you're saying, and my heart hurts because I'm just going, why did I never think of that?
Stay off that bottom shelf.
There's so many connotations to that statement, and I'm just going, I agree with all of them.
But seriously, like as far as the contemporary goes, I'm all for it because again, if it makes sense, if she's better with money, let her handle the finances. Don't be stuck on, I'm the man, so I'm going to handle that. If you can cook and she cannot, nigga, get your ass in the kitchen. Stop all this gender role bullshit. And she's supposed to be a homemaker. Nope. If she can't goddamn clean a goddamn toilet better than you, nigga, get in there and get it done.
You go all the way left, and then I'm just like, God, leave. Because you almost had me on the contemporary side. I'm like, you know what? That's a good point. Because there are parts there's a parts of what you say that I'm just like, yeah, but because you're blanketing.
So you're gonna eat nasty food. You're gonna eat nasty food because she's the lady.
Nigga, where'd you get that from?
You sitting there telling me I'm going wrong.
Me lately? I ain't gonna ever eat.
I'm just saying, but let's say your old lady could not cook.
Right.
But she's supposed to be the homemaker. I'm taking care of this, so she's supposed to do that. No. Contemporary means whoever's better at whatever, let it work. Now, there are certain things that as a man, I'm not going to allow. I'm not going to allow because I can do it myself, taking out trash.
No. Down trees. You don't get to do that. No. If you're going to say that my traditional way is always
I just say if I'm better at it? Did I just say if I'm better at it? If I'm better?
No. How do you know your girl if your girl's better than you at bringing the trash cans in or taking the trash out? How do you know?
Because I see when she tries to pick them up and put them on the little pallet we got in the garage, it always ends up crooked. So hey, I know how to do it.
You are something else, nigga.
Hey, I'm just telling you. Hey, we've tried it all. Sent her out there one day. She was like, "I'm gonna go cut the grass," and then I got to go out there and cut the grass behind you because that's not your thing. You're not good at it. You're not good at it. She calls me like, "Hey, make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because yours are better than mine." And then I look at how she makes a peanut butter. I'm like, "That's way too much peanut butter. That is not enough jelly." Like, what the fuck?
She making you choke sandwiches?
Get out of the way, bro. Get out of the way. I got this. So again, people have to do what works and allow whatever they're better at. Everyone takes their part.
What you're doing right now, you are qualifying why you believe in certain gender roles. And
it's not a gender role, but it is. But it's not a gender role.
If you go back, ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to go back. When this is on YouTube, I want y'all to go back about 45 seconds when he said there are certain things that I just won't allow her to do. But when I called him on it, and then he said, "Oh, because I'm better than you." No.
That's exactly what I said.
This is like last week. This is like last week when you said the Bible that we read every day, and I went, Every day you were like, nope, I said red. I'm pretty sure I said red. I went back and listened to it.
I did say read, but my intent was to say when we read, because nowadays, like I have scriptures that pop up on my phone every day. So does that count?
Yeah, it does actually. You reading it every day.
Well, shit,
if you are reading it every day, but so this is what I'm saying. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. This is how I feel about the whole situation. I don't want to say that everything that you would consider a contemporary relationship is bad, and I don't want to say everything that you consider a traditional relationship is good, because there are definitely aspects of traditional relationships that are problematic, that are absolutely problematic. There are parts of contemporary relationships that I think are excellent. I think the collaborative approach to relationships is much, 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 much better than the domineering approach of the man over the woman, or the woman being inferior than the man. I think the contemporary relationship in that aspect, where it's a collaborative effort, is so much better. Now, admittedly, did I have to get to a point where I understood that? Yes, because in most households that I was around, the deference was always given to, like, I'll give you an example, right? Like, so my mom and my pops. My mom is not how can I say this? My mom is not a delicate, fragile lady where, oh my, woe is me. Never. But there were certain ways my mom treated my pops that had me thinking of ways what to look for in a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I can't. My dad is not a yelling dude. I can probably count on one hand, minus a few fingers, how many times I ever heard my pops yell growing up. I don't have that testimony of somebody else who's like, oh, my dad was always yelling at me. You know, now my kids have that testimony, but I never understood that. My pops could look and everything went, okay, bring it down. You know what I'm saying? It's over. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example, real quick story. When I first got married, right? I've got my oldest son is my stepson. I don't call him my stepson. That's my son. You know what I'm saying? When we got married, he was there. And now, to me, growing up, I knew that what my dad said goes. What my parents said in general, no matter if we went to grandma's house, you had that talk before you left out. You know what I told you. Don't get over here trying to act like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I remember going to my parents' house, and my oldest son wanted some candy or something, and I had told him no beforehand. And my mom was like, "Oh, well, here, come on, let give him this." And I'm like, "I said no, rah, and I done got in my I'm the man, I run things."
I'm the daddy.
Exactly. Right. My pops pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey, you the man of your house, right?" Yeah, because I'm still up here. And my pops was like, "You the man of your house, right?" Yeah. He said, "So what you say goes, right?" Yeah. So no matter what, if you wanted to, you could put a stop to all of that, right? Yeah. He said, "So why are you yelling?" When I tell you that, to this day, that struck me. I was just like, whoa.
Right.
And because then you start going back, because your initial reaction is going to be like, because remember you no, he didn't.
Right. No, he didn't.
Well, you didn't. No, he didn't. You always, it was just something that was inherent, and we've had the conversation since, where it's one of those situations where it's just like, yo, I didn't have to do all that.
Right.
I established myself in such a way where the respect was given off the top, but I also never saw my dad yell at my mom. My mom did some yelling. You know what I'm saying? My mama did some yelling, let's be real. But my dad I never saw my dad yell at my mom. Which is an odd thing to say. But of all the adjectives I could use to describe the man, soft ain't one of them.
Right. And that's the thing with our upbringing with our fathers. As brothers, like, I think they probably didn't see the same things. Like, I never saw an actual argument. Like, I would see them have these moments where they were like, hey, no, I don't think that should happen and that should happen. So they'll have a discussion, but there was never a knockdown, drag out argument.
Oh no, never.
There was never one of those in front of us. I don't know if things happen. I have no clue. because my father was not a yeller either. He was more of a lecturer, and I wish he would just yell and punch me and get it over with.
Oh my God!
For 30 minutes and making me think. Like, this nigga asked me when I was 11-year-old, who are you? And I was just like, I'm Tommy. And this
nigga, I'm like, 11. I don't know what.
And this nigga said, but who is Tommy? Who is Tommy? And he just kept asking me, and I'm just like, yo, and I did not get it until years later. Like, who am I as a man? Not who is this little kid? No, but that's the thing. Like, it's never going to be a yeller for me. It's never going to be a yeller. I'm never going to curse at my wife. I'm never going to call her out of her name. I'm never going any of that shit. Like, as fucked up as I am, my wife can always be like, yeah, but he doesn't yell, and he doesn't, like, he's never cursed me. He's never called me on my name. Like, I'm an asshole. I'm a horrible person when I need to be. But with her, she's never going to see that. The rest of y'all will get it as I see fit. But for her, it's gonna never be that, because I've been raised in a way to where the respect's gonna always be there, and she can never say I disrespected her. Now, I can be a dick, but but there's not a disrespect thing. Now, she may want to stab me a lot of times, but it's not because I was disrespectful. I'm just
right. Now, I will be honest with you. I've done some yelling.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Now, I will never ever yell at my wife. And when I say yelling, like, I don't mean like, you stupid up. None of that. No.
Yeah.
But like, we're in a. You got to remember, I got older kids now, so they go.
Raised. Yeah.
What do you mean? Why not? Like, that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like, never in front of my kids. Never in front of my kids. That's never gonna happen. Not a chance in this world. Because, like I said, I got 3 boys and a girl.
They gotta know.
These boys are gonna act like daddy act. If they can find one time where dad went too far, that's gonna be the example, because those are the things that stick in their head. And for my daughter, she's gonna feel like that's acceptable from a dude.
From a guy, right. And that's the thing there.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things again, ladies. Don't make these men take y'all back to the tradition of getting your head knocked between the washer and the dryer.
Oh God!
Please don't. Please don't. I just want to. I'm gonna pin mine right there, ladies.
Stop.
That washer. You see how you
just did? You just took. What you did. You did a Republican on me just now. What you did. We posed a question. And I came into this conversation thinking we were going to have an introspective debate as to the pros and cons of both. And what you did was you tried to end it by pinning traditional to getting heads knocked in the middle. And everybody who's watching this, they going to hear that, and that's going to be the story. Look at that. Hey, you know, Tech is talking about going back to knocking women's heads out.
Right.
I am not. I am not.
Let men be men. And what were they doing with those traditional things? Knocking their head between the couch and the love seat.
That was masterful. You took man and you made it a negative thing, and then equated it at the end to knocking heads and put a bow on it with let men be men. So now you've defined men as head busters, and now we're here where let men be head busters. And that's not fair. I'm just going to say that's not fair. You just did what Republicans did with woke, and you just made it something else, and now you can just point to the fact that I've been advocating for men to be men. Anyway.
The couch and the love seat, baby. Keep your head from between the couch and the love seat.
Now with that right there, this game is going to be real bad.
You got one.
This game is going to be real bad now that you and I'm
take now me off camera and you put that scroll up right
now. No, I am rethinking the way I put this whole thing.
You did it.
But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And you know what? And you know what? The views expressed by Tech are not necessarily the views of the Let's Get Canceled podcast, Tommy with an H, or its sponsors. But he's right. So check this out.
right, go for it.
All right, so for tonight's game, man, I watched this video recently, and it stood out to me. So I decided I'd dig into it a little bit. Had a conversation with Tommy with an H, and it's interesting. So I'm gonna share it with y'all, right? So in this video, right, there's a lady, and she's talking about her friend, and she's explaining this. Her friend has this thing that's called a CPN. CPN stands for cost per nut. That's right, cost per nut. The way this works out is that her friend, the male friend, he calculates on a spreadsheet how much he spends on a lady before he gets a nut with that same lady. I'll give you an example. Say you meet a young lady, gentlemen, and you decide, you know what? I like her. I want to take her out. So you take her out to go get something to eat. Well, we've learned from the last few months, you can't take her to Applebee's. Apparently, that's a cardinal sin. So you got to go spend a whole bunch of money on some food somewhere, whatever. So let's not say a whole bunch. Let's say something that's a decent night out at a restaurant, but let's say you total spend $300 on dinner.
Jesus Christ!
Listen, man, to me that's a lot of money. To some of these girls, apparently that's not enough. But let's just keep it there, right? So you met this young lady, you take her out, you spend $300 on dinner. That's your dinner and her dinner. Now, ladies, before you chime in, number one, I don't know why you're still watching this. I said this game was for the guys. But number two, I already hear your voice saying, well, you know what? He was going to eat anyway. Let me tell you something. If I wasn't taking a woman out, I'd be home eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and I'd call it a night. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, we go out $300 on dinner. Now, after dinner, you go into the movies. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, even though she just ate with her... Anyway, even though she just ate, you can't just go to the movie. You got to get the tickets and you got to get some popcorn and candy and all. All right, fine. That's going to be about, let's say, about $80 for the tickets and the snacks at the concession stand. Because, movie theater, right? Watch the movie. Oh, by the way, please understand, ladies, we wouldn't be at this movie theater if we wasn't taking a woman out. I don't know one nigga left alive that is like, you know what? I'm going to go treat myself today and I'm going to go sit in the movie theater by myself to watch a chick flick. It's not happening, all right? Especially not now with torrents and Netflix and stuff dropping on Hulu and Netflix in a couple weeks. Anyway, so after that's all done, right? You're like, okay, well, we want to sit down somewhere and get to know each other, so we're going to go stop by a bar. Can we just go to the local bar? Absolutely not. You got to go to the rooftop bar. Now you're on the rooftop bar where the drinks is $30 a drink, and she got to get 4 of them joints, right? This is ridiculous. So let me get this calculation down. We had $40 a drink or $30 a drink. Yada 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 yada. So we're at somewhere around $380, $240. Good God Almighty, that's $620. Day one. Hey fellas, you think you're gonna smash on that first date? You ain't getting no pussy. None. Not that first one. So the next date, you say, you know what? I'm gonna keep the tab down now. I splurged a little bit on that first one. So this next date, you decide you can cut corner here, cut a corner there. You get the whole day down to $300 instead of that $620, right? You still ain't getting nothing on that second date. Third date, you're like, you know what? Forget all of this. We going on a picnic. You go out on a picnic, you're able to get that whole picnic for under $100. But guess what? You have now totaled out at $1,020, and you finally get the hit. That means the CPN, cost per nut, for that young lady was $1,020. You spent $1,020 on a nut when you could have got a nut from a female at a little Asian massage parlor for how much is the massage at an Asian? Like $100?
No,
like, whatever it is, you could have got the same thing with a happy ending, and you could have got some some relaxation out of the deal. Here's the thing. That's your cost per nut. This gentleman explains this, and I thought it was brilliant because he said the goal is to get that cost per nut, the CPN, to gradually go down. You shouldn't have to spend 10, 20 every time you get to get with this young lady. So the idea, gentlemen, is to make sure that the CPN is trending downward. If the CPN stagnates and it stays at the same, that's when you cut that loose, you cut your losses, and you move on. So my game for you, gentlemen, is keep your CPN low. There's no reason, none, that you should be spending that much money consistently on a female to try to get some. Now, for all of you people out there who are saying, you know what? Oh, you talking about tricking. You know that. Shut your mouth. Kiss my, you know what? Shut up. Just shut up. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because every man spends money to get some. Every one of them. I don't care what you. Every one of them. Now, some of y'all are going out on the trail and spending the money. Others are buying TVs, or I don't know what else you buy for women anymore. I just told y'all I give my wife my whole check, so I don't know what I'm spending money on. But everybody spends it. So what I'm telling you is, if you're not married, if you just out there playing the field, keep your CPN low. Get that cost per nut down. You don't need to spend that much money. There are women out there who give it to you for a lot less than that chick who's saying that she can't go to Applebee's. I like Applebee's. I do. Like, I didn't think I did because I had never eaten there before until like a year or two ago. And I kind of like Applebee's. Find you somebody who likes Applebee's with you. All right? And that's the game. Take it or leave it.
Take it. Because I'm going to ask you right now, what do you think the CPN should be? Swear around. Because while you were talking, I was sitting over there doing my own math, and women ain't going to like me.
You know what I think it should be? And this is the thing. With CPN, I think it needs to be an aggregate. It needs to be an average for, let's say, a month. If you're talking to me after the first one, then I think that CPN definitely needs to be less, $50. Does that sound bad? Is that rough?
That sounds horrible.
No, 50 to 100 at the max. Because you're on the aggregate. That sounds horrible. No, you're on the aggregate. Okay. Think about it. Like, so you mean to tell me that there's no, and we're not, let's exclude the first nut. Let's exclude the first one, because you're going to automatically spend more money. Crazy. But if we are in a regular
long term, yeah, okay,
not even a relationship. We talking about like we've been kicking it for a while and whatever. So you mean to tell me that there's never sometimes it's going to be, let's get something to eat or go to a movie and then do whatever. So those days could be $100, $200, but then there's going to be some days where it's going to be nothing. It's going to be the cost of an Uber. You understand what I'm saying? And some days, so when you average all that together, and I'm saying over a month.
What do you think that initial cost should be?
Oh man, initial cost. I don't know. How bad is the chick? Where's she at on the line? Because there's a lot of math that's involved with this. But I definitely think it needs to be less than that $1,020 that I just ran up. You know what I'm saying? Bro. I think an average $200 date and another $200 date for the initial.
The fuck y'all going for $200 on dates, man?
No, I mean for the whole date, the whole thing. I'm not. Listen,
right.
I've never been that dude. I am cool with going to Applebee's, nigga. Do you know they got the 2 for $20? Chili's got the 2 for $25, nigga. And you can get a drink, you get your entree, and we can share dessert. This is a beautiful date. But they don't think like I do. I don't know, man. I don't know. So, hey, what do you think it should be? Wait, what do you think it should be?
Free. Pussy been free since the beginning of time, nigga. Pussy been free.
So wait, how do you get there? Tell me how you get there.
We gonna talk well before we have to go out somewhere.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna stop you right there. You're gonna stop. No, we're done. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the thing. We told y'all we got a hot new topic for y'all next week. I need y'all to pay attention. But the 4th on our show for the 22nd. Our show for the 22nd is our 24th. Grab bag.
It'll be the 24th.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry, 25th.
25th. There we go.
Yep. Our show for the 25th is going to be our grab bag. So we need your comments. I'm really interested to hear what y'all have to say about this.
I want to know what everyone thinks the price should be. What's the price?
Now, let us know, men and women. Let us know, and just respond, please, y'all. Like, don't beat up on Tommy with an H on this one.
I don't give a fuck. I fight back, nigga. I fight back.
We can go like everything I said has logic to it. Understand that. So if y'all have comments or you want to kind of get your 2 cents in, fine. Go ahead.
If a nigga got to pay, if he got to pay $200, he should be able to knock your head between the wash and the dry. That's all I'm saying.
So y'all let us know. Hey, yo, I don't know if we've been canceled off of this week yet.
But we gonna do it again next week.
We gonna do it anyway, nigga. Yo, man. Hey, we appreciate y'all. Shout out to everybody who's rocking with us, man. We'll see y'all next week. Hey, yo, cousin.
What's up, cousin?
Love you, boy.
Love you, man, and I love y'all. Y'all be good.
Peace, man.
Peace.
God, nigga.